Alabama, we talk about the damage left behind and how long we can expect these cooler temperatures. Stick around.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
But first, we begin with some images shared by Lynn Burrell. These were taken near Chocolaco Creek after heavy rain impacted Calhoun County over the weekend. And right now, Tania, we're learning a lot more after yesterday. Significant flooding yesterday morning. We called a First Alert Weather Day. We were watching this through Saturday night, Sunday morning. We saw some of the radar storm totals, over a half foot of rain. Some of the most significant flooding we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's so scary to know how fast the rain can just build up in just a short period of time.
Well, listen, we just finished talking about this tragedy out in Texas, and this was in the middle of the night. And once again, you got all the heavy rain, and it happens in a flash. And sadly, there was one fatality in Cleburn County. Cleburn County, another area that was heavily impacted. Now, we have a lot of folks that watch us in Cleburn County, so, you know, we're sending out some of those updates, but a lot of roads remain closed in that area, certainly impacted. The good news is we're watching it closely. That's why if you've seen these flood watches over East Alabama, that's why we're so concerned. It was such a significant flood situation in those areas over the weekend. But right now, radar is much quieter. As you can see right now, First Alert AccuTrack, Clay County, and into parts of Cleburn County, there are flood watches. But at the moment, all the rain's over towards the Atlanta area, and even that rain's not heavy rain, as you can see there over well east of our area. At the moment, things pretty quiet around Birmingham, and here's the catch of it all. Other than the flooding, we got some incredible temperatures, some of the nicest feeling weather that we've had in August when it comes to this time of the year, and we're not dealing with a tropical system or anything like that. We have a lot of clouds out there, but we'll keep a watch on East Alabama at the moment. Again, no heavy rain. If we start to see those conditions, storms popping up, and some of those areas go under the immediate threat, we'll certainly give you a First Alert Weather Day there, let you know if that threat is developing. But seasonal heat levels are going to return, but you're probably thinking, okay, when are we going to jump back into the oven? You know it's coming, right? Well, it's a gradual shift in temperatures over the next several days. Close to 80 tomorrow. We'll still have that flood watch southeast, but as we heat up into the 80s, isolated showers and storms in the forecast throughout the week. So basically between now and Friday, we need to watch it, especially some of those flood-prone areas. If we do have a slow-moving storm that tries to pop up, but now it's kind of cool, not quite as unstable out there, so we're not seeing what we call convective rain, that heavy rain associated with storms, again with those higher storm totals. This evening, you can see through 7 o'clock, the forecast data shows a 20%. Again, that's mostly for eastern areas. Not seeing much across West Alabama. 8 to 9 o'clock tonight, temperatures down to 70 there on our map, but there's going to be a lot of areas by 9 o'clock. We're in the 60s. Again, this has been some of the coolest weather for this time of the year that we've seen area-wide in quite some time. But looking ahead tomorrow, it is back to school. 7 o'clock in the morning, Clay, Coosa, Pickens, some counties there where we got schools kicking it off. You can see that by the afternoon, again, we'll need to watch for maybe an isolated storm, but starting out school with morning temperatures in the 60s. Wow. I mean, we were talking about football during the newscast, and it certainly has that football feel, that kind of weather, right, with temperatures in the 60s. Listen, take advantage of these cooler temperatures while they last. We know the heat will come back, again, more seasonal this week, but could that change over the next few weeks? But taking you now back to Cleburn County, where we learned the name of the 22-year-old man killed, sadly, by the devastating flooding over the weekend. His name is Cohen Turner. Your East Alabama reporter, Reggie Kyle, joining us with the latest on this story after talking to a fire chief.
Turkey Heaven Fire Chief Patrick Nolan telling me today this is a tragic loss for this close-knit county, but also a reminder of the danger when it comes to severe weather.
This particular family has been family friends of mine for many years, and my prayer goes out to them.
Sunday morning, just after 6 a.m., Chief Nolan says his department received a call for help on County Road 41 in Cleburn County. A man's vehicle had been swept away and his passenger was missing.
We were able to locate the driver of the vehicle kind of in that general area, and he was located in the trees. After about an hour and a half span, we were able to locate the passenger. Ultimately, at that point, he was located deceased.
According to Chief Nolan, that passenger had been identified as 22-year-old Cohen Turner, who the chief knew very well. But just before 4 a.m. the same morning, firefighters responded to a woman trapped in flooded waters 2 miles away on County Road 10.
Young female driving a small sedan car that actually attempted to cross the waters there and was swept out into a field. Luckily, there was no injuries. She was the sole occupant of the vehicle, and we were able to rescue her fairly quickly.
Water levels reached as high as 20 feet in a valley next to a creek and a lake.
Never try to cross any type of flooded, because that power of that water, you can't ever tell what kind of damage it's already done, and it's just so dangerous to even attempt to cross any type of flood water.
Now, Chief Nolan went on to say that his department will assist this family in burying their son. I'll put information in this story on our WBRC News app if you would like to help this family. Your reporter in Cleburn County, I'm Reggie Kyle for WBRC 6 News, on your side.
Well, thanks, Reggie. Well, let's talk about the cooler temperatures in the forecast. Lows this morning in the 60s for many parts of central Alabama. Here's just a few of our first alert weather watchers. Bobby Rowe, Pell City, 69 this morning. In Trussville, Tyler Young reported an overnight low of 68 degrees. The cooler temperatures sure do feel nice, but let's check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel with the weather extra on the science behind the phenomenon causing these cooler temperatures and why it's called the wedge.
Are you enjoying the cooler temperatures? I know I am. It's feeling a little bit like fall, but the big question is, why are we seeing this? Well, it's because of the wedge, and you may have heard us use that term before and maybe wondering, what does that mean? Well, scientifically we call it cold air damming. It's low-level cool air that gets trapped by mountains, and it slides on the eastern slopes of those mountains, and it can produce some cooler conditions. It happens a lot usually in our late fall, winter months, but sometimes you'll get it even in summertime, and that's what we're dealing with. So we'll zoom on into the eastern half of the country, and we've got an area of high pressure. This is what's influencing the cooler conditions, and flow around that area of high pressure is clockwise. So for us, we start getting those east-northeasterly winds. Well, it's a shallow layer of cool air. So here's an example. We got our mountain range right here, and when you got that area of high pressure bringing in those easterly, northeasterly winds, it brings that shallow, cool air down those mountains and into the Carolinas, Georgia, and then eventually, if it's strong enough, into the northern half of Alabama. So when we get that cool air, shallow air moving along the mountains and moving into Georgia and Alabama, you also get warm air aloft, and sometimes you get enough lift and you get clouds developing, and sometimes you get the form of rain. That's why we started seeing a lot of rain develop Saturday night into Sunday morning in parts of East Alabama and into parts of Georgia as that wedge was developing. And now that that wedge is here, we're not seeing as much rain, but we're still dealing with the clouds and those easterly flows, keeping those temperatures down. It takes a bigger weather system to sort of knock this out. It can last for a couple of days, and then we'll be right back to where we normally are, which is back into the mid and upper 80s. But there you go. This is what we call the wedge.
All right, Matt, and that cooler air moving in, that front certainly packing a punch with all the flooding over the weekend. But in 30 seconds, we can continue to talk about what you can expect for tomorrow as school kicks off for some. And we teach you about one organization planning to help cities beat the heat one tree at a time.
You'll have time.
All right, we got clouds out there, temperatures in the 70s, and before you know it this evening, again, areas in the 60s out there. Yesterday, Anniston reached a record high minimum, meaning it was the coolest feeling day that Anniston's had on record since we've been keeping records. So what a turnaround in these temperatures compared to last week. Tonight's low temperature will be dropping down into the 60s, and then tomorrow we'll have 70s east 80s back to the west, and I highlighted areas to the southeast where I think we'll see the greatest chance for a few of those scattered showers. Again, we'll continue to watch this part of Alabama for that flood risk. But notice as we heat up later this week, it's not like we go right back into the heat box here. Friday, Saturday, upper 80s, not bad for this time of the year, and gradually we'll see temperatures closer to 90 over the weekend. But the thing is, it's going to start to feel more humid as we move through the weekend. And also what we're going to be tracking over the weekend as well, a few of those afternoon storms. Still need to watch for that localized flood risk through the weekend. But a lot that we're tracking in the tropics. We'll show you that coming up in weather. Right now, let's go to Tania.
Thanks, Wes. Yeah, Wes, listen, you were just showing those temperatures. We're definitely warming up later into the week. But yeah, it's not expected to be as hot, which we love, as it was last week. The effects of urban heat islands can still be felt throughout cities, though. Your Josh Gant sat down with one organization to talk about how planting trees could help fight the effects.
When the hot summer sun is beaming down on Birmingham, it can create an urban heat island. Places that experience warmer temperatures compared to nearby rural areas. Hard surfaces like asphalt, concrete, and bricks retain heat during the day and slowly release it at night.
You step outside, you walk on the roadways, you can just feel that heat radiating. Well, you think about brick homes and the roads and all the buildings in downtown, it retains that warmth.
Check out how hot the bricks are here. 143 degrees in the afternoon sun and 110 even in the shade. Experts say urban heat islands can affect public health, air and water quality, and energy consumption.
Check for any signs of disease or bugs.
A group that's trying to bring more shade to the Magic City literally is Cool Green Trees, an initiative taking action to combat the negative effects of urban heat islands by planting more trees.
Oftentimes the base of the tree is a lot of the care of a tree.
Patrick McMahon is the urban arborist.
A lot of communities in Jefferson County, a lot of neighborhoods, roads, right-of-ways, parks, there just aren't that many spots for shade, especially when there's some aging trees, storms, and trees falling. We really need to replace that shade.
And we do want to restore, canopy using native trees. So to produce more shade, to reduce the burden of urban heat islands.
Earlier this year, Cool Green Trees coming together with the community to plant dozens of trees in the park on Norwood Boulevard. Nearby, you'll also find new trees along the street Keith Smith grew up on. He's currently renovating his dad's house there.
I didn't even know what they were for. I thought they were just adding more beauty to the neighborhood because it's a historic district. But now understanding why they're there, I think is a perfect idea.
Smith believes the project will make an impact.
Just sitting on the porch sometimes, just having a cup of water, you just begin to sweat how heated the area is. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking with the trees, we'll definitely add some additional shade to kind of cool things off.
Bringing down the temperature in neighborhoods doesn't happen overnight, but over time, Raleigh believes what they are doing now will make a difference and create a canopy of protection for the future.
We're focused on the communities themselves and just bringing something to these communities that maybe have been left out of the table for a long time. And, we want to bring them something positive. We want to bring something effective as well.
Well, coming up, we take you around the world where places being impacted by extreme weather events and how Canadian wildfires are bringing dangerous air quality conditions to parts of the United States.
Extreme heat make a big
Well, welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. You're taking a live look at the World Trade Center in New York. These views coming as nearly 160 million people are under air quality alerts due to the Canadian wildfire smoke. Parts of Detroit having an air quality reading of 160 and above today, meaning the air is bad for anyone breathing it. Air quality monitoring database IQ Air listing the city as number 3 among major cities in the world with the highest air pollution. Health experts recommending communities to wear N95 masks to help filter out the pollution. The air quality is expected to improve for majority of the U.S. in the coming days. But check this out. While we're coming off of a hot week, those in Australia are seeing a different story. It's a winter wonderland, a weekend of heavy snow and rain shutting down power for thousands. The state emergency services say they responded to more than 2,000 calls. Locals say they haven't seen this level of heavy snow in the area for years.
It's probably the most I've ever seen up here in the last chasing snow up here the last 5 to 10 years, so it's pretty amazing.
Some schools in the mid-North Coast were forced to shut down as officials issued flood warnings in some areas. Wes?
Yeah, land down under, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that temperature goes down, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, how about around here, Tania?
Hey, it feels good. Honestly, it's a little cooler here. Maybe not snow level cool, but we'll take it.
Just incredible. I mean, we've got the clouds have helped out today. It's keeping those temperatures down. You know, we've been concerned about East Alabama with all that flooding that happened over the weekend. There's a flood watch in effect. It still includes Cleburn, Clay, Randolph County, down to Chambers County, Tallapoosa County at the moment. No heavy rain. We'll watch it overnight and into tomorrow. We're still seeing some pockets of rain that's been drifting from south to north and basically drifting across our southeast counties over towards the Atlanta area. But most of our coverage area from Coleman to Birmingham, Alabaster, points west, you can see Hamilton and Aliceville. We're dry at the moment, and we get to enjoy some of these pleasant conditions and try to get an early start tomorrow and take advantage of some of these temperatures because, you know, they won't last too long. If you need to do a little yard work tomorrow, I'm circling tomorrow morning. Now, East Alabama might wake up with a few showers over here. You can see I highlighted those areas. That's where the greatest chance is tomorrow. But even there, I'm not seeing at this point the risk for extreme rainfall. So the conditions for flooding at the moment have backed off somewhat, but we'll watch it. Again, we have that flood watch in effect, and that's an area that needs to be watched. So looking ahead, next big thing, well, what you're seeing is some of the forecast data for the weekend. And you can see that coverage of mostly afternoon showers and storms is there. Went with a 40% chance of rain. Afternoon storms will be possible, but by the weekend, we don't jump right into record kind of heat. It's back to seasonal levels for us. That means upper 80s, low 90s. We'll take it. And again, some afternoon rain to cool us off. We'll need to watch some of those. Hopefully those storms won't last long and we won't see any major flood issues, but we'll be monitoring. And right on track, arrival of August, we've got hurricane season ramping up, and already we have a tropical storm that's out over the Atlantic, Dexter. That one's going to move to the northeast. There is a wave off the coast of Georgia and the Carolinas, partially the reason we're seeing a lot of that rainy weather that's over far east Alabama and into parts of Georgia. That's one that could keep the weather unsettled through the end of the week. Again, you can see that trough back in here, and that's an area low chance for development. This is an area that I'm watching. There's an easterly wave that has moved off of Africa. I've checked out a lot of the global ensembles, and you've got some data that wants to take it this way and some probabilities that take it more in a westerly direction. It's just far too soon. No impacts this weekend. You're fine if you're heading to the beach this weekend, but it is one to watch in the long range. We'll see what happens there. We're getting into that time of the year where these systems track all the way across the Atlantic, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. But overall, rain chances still very isolated through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. Again, we had that 40% chance of rain, and really no major change in early next week. Again, I mentioned to Nia, I'd posted an update talking about back in the oven soon. Big question mark. Well, not so fast. It looks like it's just going to be a slow, gradual buildup of heat, but upper 80s, low 90s. I mean, that's still hot, but nothing like last week.
Oh, no. I'm so excited that I'm not seeing and feeling like 110, 115 outside.
You know, overall, this summer, I mean, we've had rain. You know, a lot of times we get to points in the summer we're begging for some rainfall.
That's
but
true.
every time it seems like just when we need some rain,
We've
we get some
gotten it.
rain. Now, we got too much over the weekend.
That's true.
But there's a chance over the next few days, maybe a few afternoon showers.
Yeah, listen, I'm not mad, Wes, at the cooler temperatures. I know many people are excited to finally get outdoors and to not just instantly sweat when you step outside. You get a little bit of break, and matter of fact, a little breeze too. Today felt super nice because there was a little bit more cloud coverage that limited a lot of the direct sunlight that's usually beaming down on you. It's going to be like that over the next couple of days, pretty cloudy with those clouds not breaking up till about Wednesday. So if you want to get out like Wes mentioned earlier, please do so. Let's take a look at our temperature outlook though. We're looking beyond the 7-day now. This is showing August 12th through the 18th. And notice Wes mentioned that we're going to slowly and gradually get warmer, but hey, we're tracking to see above average temperatures very soon. We'll be seasonable through at least early next week, but beyond the 7-day, the 12th through the 18th, get ready and be prepared for some hotter conditions. Now, will it be excessive heat warning? A type of heat? Maybe not, but slightly above average, yes. As we look at precipitation outlook, August 10th through the 14th, a good mix across the nation, but much of the United States dealing with above average rainfall, and that includes us right here across central Alabama. Still going to see more afternoon showers and maybe some thunderstorms, and there could be a few showers and thunderstorms in the early portions of the day as well. So make sure you're checking in with us as we continue beyond the 7-day. But what about now? We'll talk about what's happening right now and another full look at our 7-day forecast coming up right here on Weather Extra after the break. All right, Wes, take a look at these weather photos. This one is so beautiful. This was sent in by Kippy, an evening sunset at Cherokee National Forest in Butler, Tennessee.
All right, Julie Davis sharing this cotton candy sky over Winfield, Alabama. Nice pink glow there.
And Ryan Carty, we love him. Evening in Birmingport.
Nice view, I would say drone view, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Rick, morning fog in Walnut Grove after all that
that's
rain.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's spooky. It's giving Halloween. Lisa E. Sunset in Talladega. Gorgeous view. Oh, it's kind of cool. It almost looks like a photoshopped picture.
And we got a double rainbow from Brandy Roberts in Jacksonville with lots of rainbows, cotton candy skies. And there was one photo, I want to give Joe in Anniston a big shout out. He was sharing some photos of some of the flooding there in the Anniston area, but we'll be showing more pictures. But yesterday morning, of course, that flooding was unreal. Over 6 inches. I looked at some of the storm totals on the radar. I mean, over a ½ foot of rain measured. It's just, you know, you just think about that much water falling out of the sky. But it happened in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it did. And I think that's what made it such a more of a tragic event.
Oh, it happens in a flash. You know, we say flash flooding, but these summertime downpours, the good news is right now we don't see heavy rain on the radar, but it's interesting. We're starting to see more showers back in the parts of Georgia. You know, we're showing that tropical wave that's off the East Coast that looks like things might be trying to come together there, more east of us. Also, we're watching Dexter, tropical storm. That's out over the Atlantic, and then there's a wave that's moving towards the central Atlantic. A lot of you have already reached out. I'm going to the beach this weekend. What's this thing going to do? It is one we need to watch.
It is something we need to watch.
I always say until I know that thing's going to turn, we need to watch it. So a lot in the tropics, and you'll want to check in tonight with Tania at 9. I'll be here at 10, and we'll be talking more. Speaking of 10-day forecast. It looks like we don't jump right back into extreme heat, right?
No, we don't. We're talking about 80s for most of your week.